The supreme law of the land, the Constitution. In its 8th Amendment, it states that any cruel and unusual punishment is prohibited in the United States of America. However, there is one form of punishment that contradicts this section of the 8th Amendment altogether. This punishment is recognized as the death penalty. Good evening. My name is Nicholas Suarez, and tonight I'm here to convince you to adopt the belief that the death penalty should be outlawed in the state of Florida. I will begin by stating the overall financial cost of the death penalty itself, and how innocents have been executed by means of the death penalty, and finish off by stating that life without parole is a much fitting and more deserved punishment for those that have abandoned their morals for criminal causes. It is known that financial costs have profound consequences on the state of Florida and other states as well. These economic burdens are known as being placed on various jurisdictions such as local governments, state governments, and individual taxpayers. As stated before, these financial costs come from the death penalty itself. In fact, in the state of Florida alone, for each individual criminal placed on death row and expected to be executed by the death penalty, they range to upwards $23 million in financial costs. These numbers are astounding. According to deathpenaltyinfo.org, there are other factors that play a cause in increasing the financial costs for death penalty. These factors include complex pretrial motions, lawyer fees, incarceration costs, and court of claims costs as well. As you can see in this PowerPoint slide, not only the state of Florida, but other states as well, such as the state of Illinois, go upwards to $214 million in financial costs annually. Imagine all of that money going to educational institutions and emergency services, and it is even known that it'd be $23 million cheaper to place these criminals going to face the death penalty in life without parole. Sadly, it is known that inmates that were innocent have been condemned and executed by the death penalty. Since 1973, 69 death row inmates have been released due to substantial evidence convincing of innocence. However, it must be recognized that although they have been released, them being there in the first place is enough to be misdirection and misjudgment. According to deathpenaltyinfo.org, it is known that there are mistakes in capital cases and that they're persistent and difficult to eliminate. It is known that one innocent death inmate is equal to 100 death sentences. Here we can see Cameron Todd Willingham, father of 3, who was wrongfully executed based on misinterpreted evidence. It is said that a fire killed his 3 children, and it was believed that he created this fire to kill the 3 children. However, it was later determined by scientific evidence that he was wrongfully convicted and wrongfully executed 20 years later. Here we can see Ruben Cantu, teenager of less than 18 years of age, so much life left in him, who was wrongfully executed based on false testimony and lies. It must be recognized that these 2 people that we see here represents the innocents who have been executed. It is not only just them, but other people as well. And the death penalty has robbed them of the life that they could have had in the future. Cameron with his family, and Robert with his life. It is known that the death penalty does not serve as an excellent crime deterrent. In fact, according to procon.org, 88% of criminologists determine that the death penalty does not serve as an exceptional crime deterrent. We can see here in this graph that the murder rate in death penalty states is exponentially higher than the murder rate in non-death penalty states. In fact, the percent differences range from 7% all the way to 46%, which is unacceptable to begin with. It is known that life without parole sentence saves money. An individual inmate costs $90,000 for life without parole sentences. However, inmates with the death penalty will accumulate to $1.06 billion in 20 years. These numbers are astounding. And here we can also see the reiteration of murder rates in death penalty states and the comparison of murder rates in non-death penalty states as well. The USA is recognized as one of the few and only countries that still enact the death penalty on its inmates. The death penalty alone creates exponential financial costs and creates economic burdens on various jurisdictions such as local governments, state governments, and individual taxpayers. It has been known to execute innocents, and it served as a weak crime deterrent in the first place. The alternative to the death penalty would be life without parole, which serves as an excellent crime deterrent. It has to be recognized that innocents that have been executed by the death penalty is enough to serve as an example that the death penalty should be eliminated in the state of Florida, and even in the entirety of the United States of America as well. By eliminating the death penalty, millions of dollars can be saved, and lives can be saved as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.